Hey folks, welcome back. Well, since my last update, we've done a little bit. Installed some rubrail. I was able to acquire that from an old junk boat. Fits pretty nice. I had a little bit left, so didn't go short. Did a lake test. Yesterday, tested the motor. Tack doesn't work. Got to figure out that. I'm not surprised it's the original tack. Old school tack and speedo. Old school. So we'll update the gauges. Got my ignition switch and kill lanyard installed. No longer using the key switch on the control box. As a matter of fact, there is nothing from the control box connected. So I still need to work on the starting gear. That's kind of that's a safety thing. It's a combination of one or two of these wires. I'll just take a voltmeter and find continuity between two when it's in neutral and lose continuity when it's in gear. That's an easy fix. Got some temporary seats in just so we could go run it. Nasty old piston seats. Those are going to be with the same vinyl as the bow. Carpet's glued down. I've got a real tank. Need to get a strap to strap that down, and I need to get a battery tray for my battery. Don't ever let your batteries bounce around. That's bad. Even got a life jacket in there. And a throw cushion. I was legal. I had a whistle, throw cushion, fire extinguisher. The only thing I didn't have was the current registration. We won't talk about that. Next up is clean up wiring. Wiring's a mess, so I'm going to show you all a trick. It's going to work great for this boat. It might work for your boat. I've seen it done before. I'm just going to copy something that I've seen and pass it along. So if you've never installed rubrail before, it's a treat. You have two parts of the rubrail. You have the rub rail, and then you have a rubber insert. And the only thing holding the insert in is that it's locked in the channel by friction, and then a screw on each end to keep it from coming out. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to remove the insert, and we're going to take a couple screws out somewhere right around here where the cup holder is to make it easy, and we'll do another one probably right about here after the control box. So my plan is to pull the insert out, expose the screws that hold the rubrail to the cap and to the hull. We're going to choose a screw that's closest to this area and take it out, and we're going to replace that screw with an extra long, this is a 1024 I think by 2 bolt that should go all the way through the hull or through the side of the boat into the inside of the boat and leave me maybe 3/4 of an inch sticking out on the inside. So what my plan is, insert the screw, put the nut on, tighten it up, and then I will use the exposed screw that's on the inside of the boat. So there will be about that much sticking out on the inside of the boat. You take the zip ties with the mounting hole, and what I'm going to use is that as a post or a stud to hang my zip tie on. So we'll hang the zip tie from the post, grab all the wires that need to be tied up high, zip tie them up. There's a number of ways to do that. You can go from the inside and try and run a screw into the little strip of wood that's on the inside of the boat. Some manufacturers leave hooks or mounting points up in the gunnel. This manufacturer did not, although they did run a nice channel, a tube, fiberglassed in from the console all the way around to about right here. There's a PVC pipe that's glassed in, and that's where I'll run my wires up to the bow, but that's going to be another story. Right now we're trying to tie up some wires. I have nowhere to tie them up, so I'm going to show you an easy way to do it. Just briefly on the transom area, this is a mess. This is not how your transom should look. All of these wires are going to get zip tied nicely together to make one nice coil, and maybe wrap them in some wire wrap, not electrical tape, not duct tape, please. I've seen up to 2 rolls of electrical tape on the engine wiring. It's a disaster when you have to de-rig a motor and that electrical tape's 10 years old. Yeah, it makes your day. So I'm going to put you on the tripod. We're going to start by taking this screw out. That's going to expose the insert. I'm just going to grab the insert and start pulling it out. It's 100 degrees today. You'd think this would be nice and pliable. It's still hard. And going back in, I'll show you the trick on getting it back in. And also a couple tips on if you have a boat with a loose rub rail, what I'm going to show you is going to help you fix that. Because there's some steps I haven't taken yet when I put the cap on to the hull. I'm saving that for now. So here we go. Put y'all on the tripod and let y'all just kind of watch how it happens. Comes out pretty easy. It's not always going to be this easy. So we'll go to that. So I think I'll pick that screw right there. See if you can see a little better. So we're going to choose that guy. And that was just a stainless oval. Now we're going to take our 3/16 drill bit, drill right through. Yeah. I had a rivet left on there. It made a perfect countersink. That was just by accident, but it did countersunk it really good. Because you want this not sticking out, or you'll see it in the rub rail. So we put our screw in. And then I'll take my nut. That nut didn't feel right, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's go for a little trip on the inside. So there's my screw right there. We can see it. No, we can't see it too good. So we're gonna have to get in the boat. My favorite part, climbing in and out of the boat. Let's see if we can see it. There she is, right there. Probably could have got a 2.5 or 3-inch screw, but for demonstration, that will work fine. I think there's still plenty of room to get a nut on there. We're gonna find out. Take our zip tie. And yeah, there's plenty of thread to get a nut on there. And then I'll use that to hang my wires. My wires will come up. I'll close the zip tie, snip it off even. And that will take care of the wiring mess. So I might do definitely one here, one here. Can't go too far forward because of the bend on the cables. They need to have, you don't want to do dramatic bends, but I could probably put one about right here. That's the closest I'd want to get to the control box. Now going back together, give you a little look of the inside while I'm getting out. I got the oldest, nastiest seat. I took it out. It was nasty, but I got the placement where I want it. Okay, so now going back together. We're not ready to go back together, but I will demonstrate how to get this stuff in. Show you what the insert actually looks like. That's your insert. It's kind of a half moon, quarter moon, I don't know. It's domed and it's got 2 ridges. These 2 ridges on the bottom snap in to the top and bottom channels. And if it's really hot and this has been out in the sun, you can set the bottom lip in and try and use your thumbs and push that up in there. And then you want to come back and bump it up, and then that seats your rub rail. That's your rub rail insert. So before I go any further, I would want to, I'm going to loosen all these screws. I'm going to take a caulking gun and I'm going to caulk. I'm going to pull the cap away from the hull just enough where I can get the tip of the caulking gun in there. And I'm going to caulk a little bead between the cap and where the hull meet. Then I'll put the rub rail back on, screw it down, and put the insert back in. So that mounting screw that we installed is going to do a double duty. Not only does it give me a mounting point for my wiring on the inside, that locks the cap to the hull with a bolt and a nut, not just a wood screw. And if you have 3 or 4 or 5 on each side and then screws in between, your cap will never rattle. You should be able to tap on your cap and not hear a rattle or slapping sound. Anyone that's ever owned an older Skeeter, you've probably experienced the cap coming loose from the hull, especially around the transom area by the motor. They're notorious for that. Fixed lots of those. So during the winter time, it's almost impossible to squeeze this together to get it in. So I'll show you a trick. We're going to use our heat gun And we're going to heat this up. And you know when it's warm enough, you will actually see the rubber relax. It just kind of just goes limp. You can get this too hot. It will bubble and start to burn. You want it hot enough that it gets pliable and not so hot that it gets rubbery. You do both sides, get it good and warm, and then when it's warm enough, you can just take it and just barely squeeze it and it gets soft. See, I could do that with my pinky probably, but that's the difference between warming it up and not warming it up. I can barely squeeze that, but I can squeeze that like it's nothing, and that makes it just pop in. And once you get it there, you give a little up tap and that locks it in. And this is old rub rail, old insert, so it takes some doing to get it in. If this was brand new, you would definitely have to use the heat gun, not only on installing the insert, but the actual rub rail to the boat. I made these corners on the back. So we have a 90 degree. I heated the insert up to the point where it got soft and just gently bent it over and held it and let it cool before I put any screws in it. If you try to put a screw there, as soon as you bend it over, the plastic's going to be so soft your screw's going to go right through. So it's kind of an art thing. You get it like jelly, you mold it, you let it cool till it's cold and hard again, then you mount it. Just a little tip there. Well, that's what's going to happen tonight. I'm going to get my wiring harnesses set up, tied up out of the way, and move on to the next task. Who knows what that's going to be? Probably the gauges. I need a tachometer. I have to verify RPMs, make sure we're propped right. So many things. Seats, side panels for the gunnel, and this open area in the back here. I'm thinking a little bench seat all the way across with two little jump seats on the outside and one lid in the middle. That's going to be my cooler, maybe. More than likely, that's going to be my live well. I think I may go super short on the windshields, put a trolling motor on this, and it's going to be a little bass boat. I think it would be a cool bass boat. Tell me what you think. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and also share. Alrighty, thanks guys. Y'all have a great night.